Welcome to episode 144 of Rebirth Revolution. My name is Melissa Olson. This week we will continue the discussion about the awareness gaps that we are seeing in the areas of responsibility and resilience. We had talked about how our job as parents is to impart the knowledge that we have that will lift our children to higher levels of spiritual awareness. We must instill in them the concepts of honesty, integrity, empathy, and humility. They will need all of these to live happy, useful lives. There is an old saying that says, if you want to master something, teach it. Think of the time that you spend teaching these concepts to your children as time you are spending mastering the concepts, and as a result, growing both of you to higher levels. When you are helping someone learn what they must learn to reach higher levels, you are reinforcing that knowledge in yourself. It's a win-win. I don't mean this in a spare the rod and spoil the child sort of way. You should never have to employ the rod when educating your child. Being violent towards a child is lazy, ineffective, and counterproductive parenting. What you want is a relationship with your child that makes them feel safe and loved. That type of relationship will make them more receptive to what you have to teach them. It is also the bare minimum of your job as a parent. You are the source of love, protection, and wisdom that they chose before coming here. Teaching children can be very frustrating, but your job is to model for them the behavior that you would like them to exhibit when they are frustrated. But being loving and safe does not mean that you ignore their bad choices. There is a commercial that runs on TV that really upsets me. Well, actually, there are many commercials that are way off the mark when it comes to the parent-child relationship. One is where a dad has all of his children lie to him about something that happened. Ultimately, he just shrugs it off because kids will be kids. But what it shows is a father that doesn't care if his children tell the truth, and children who don't feel comfortable telling their father the truth. This is nothing to shrug off. Parents must value telling the truth, and they must make it safe for a child to tell them even the tough truths. Children who tell the truth should be praised for doing so. If the truth is that they made an unfortunate choice, then the parent's job is to help them figure out what choice they could have made that would have been better, and what they will need to do to clean up their own mess. The parent is the leader, not the person to be feared. Children value what their parents value. If they see you telling the truth, even when it's tough, then they learn to do the same. What you do is of much greater value than what you say. We seem to have everything backwards. We hold some sort of perfect image of our children, starting very young, and then cling to that, ignoring anything that might tarnish their image. But they didn't come here perfect, nor did they come here to be perfect. They came here to learn and get better. It's a lifelong endeavor. And their lack of perfection doesn't tarnish our image of being perfect parents. None of us, parents or children, are perfect. We just came here to grow together and help each other reach higher levels. That is most likely to happen if you can anticipate the need to teach and reteach and learn and relearn. It's not that you have to lord your power over your children. You need to guide while working together to deal with what life will teach us. You need to be super clear about who your child is, where they fall on the awareness spectrum, and you need to make them feel safe in learning what you have to teach them. They need to know that you have their back and that you will also be there to help them correct their own behavior along the way. Also, that you're going to be open to changing your own behavior as well. Our goal is to keep children connected to their choices. That starts early and it never ends. We see some of these very messed up young people who are making horrendous choices, but people don't plot a coup or shoot up a school as their first low level of awareness act. They have demonstrated time and time again since they were very little that they had gaps in awareness. Those gaps, for whatever reason, were never addressed. They needed help in rethinking the way they saw the world and other people. They needed to be held accountable when they lied. Their teachers and caregivers needed to be listened to when they told the parents about all the red flags that they were seeing. The way to teach a child to be responsible is by being a responsible parent from the get-go. They learn what they see. Part of the growing up process, a very important part, is to develop the skills necessary for dealing with situations that do not go the way you think they should go. Life is full of disappointments. Life is full of rejection. You can see it in toddlers. They become very unhappy when the world doesn't bend to their will. That is an important learning opportunity for them and a wonderful teaching opportunity for the parents. This sort of disappointment should be built into each and every day for them so they have the opportunity to master the skills of resilience. To create an artificial world where they never have disappointments is to shield them from the life that they will have to live like the rest of us. The concept of never saying no to a child is a dangerous one indeed. We see the fallout from children who grew up having never heard the word no. They take what they want, no matter how it affects anyone else. They have no sense of anyone else's needs but their own. They do not accept the word no as adults. It is astounding how many of these mass shooting situations are being explained by the young men, and it's almost always young men, being dumped by their girlfriend or losing a job or being evicted, as if these are valid reasons for taking the lives of random strangers. We see it in the extremely high rates of violence and deaths that are the result of intimate partner violence. We see it in the high rates of sexual assault. These are people who cannot handle a world where everyone does not bend to their wishes. These are people who cannot take no as an answer. When life does not give them what they want, they make others pay the price. Teaching children to be resilient is also the important work of teaching them empathy. Children come into this world egocentric. Parents need to expand their view of the world by helping them imagine what it feels like for other people in their story. It also teaches them integrity by making them understand that the world and everything in it does not belong to them. Our need to create an artificially perfect world for our children produces awful adults who have no resilience. We all live in a world that is built on sand. It can and will shift at any moment, and that can and will happen throughout your entire life. One of the many important things we teach children is how to recover when the sands shift. We need our children to develop problem resolution skills so that they can become adults who live good lives and have the capacity to raise good children of their own. To help children learn to lose gracefully, to take constructive criticism and turn it into growth, and to respect the boundaries of others, will enable them to grow throughout their lives. If everything has to go their way, and every obstacle is catastrophic for them, they will remain stuck. They will be unable to roll with it and grow from it. The world we live in now may have more twists and turns than it has had in a very long time. We can't raise children to think that they are owed a perfect childhood or a perfect young adulthood. The external factors are making life more and more unpredictable. To let them form the idea that they have been cheated because any part of their life was not perfect does them no good. It makes them see themselves as victims, which is a powerless position. There's been a lot of talk about this around the pandemic. They have missed out on life the way we knew it in the past. But we know all the massive challenges that this younger generation will face in the coming years. Surviving the pandemic and all that changed because of it may be just the lesson in resilience that they will desperately need in facing their future challenges. They should be praised for being resilient through tough times instead of being told that they were robbed of what they were owed. They need to be encouraged to be resilient warriors, and they must be praised for every pivot that they are capable of making. Life is not perfect. Children are not perfect. Parents are not perfect. The future will be anything but perfect. But we didn't come here for perfection. We came here to get better and to make this place better. None of us are owed anything. We're here to work with what is and to work for a future that matches our greatest vision. Thanks for returning for another week of Rebirth Revolution. Your own resilience in this nutty world is to be commended. You are pushing through while continuing to focus on getting better and doing better. That is something to celebrate. Rebirth Revolution can be found on all the podcast apps, the music apps, and full episodes play on our YouTube and Facebook pages. You can find all episodes on rebirthrevolution.com. Until next week, love your children. Lovingly guide your children. Stick with your COVID precautions and always be the calm harbor in a storm. Remember, you are loved exactly as much as every other person on the planet, not 1 ounce more or 1 ounce less. Stay strong and safe and focused.